Hello, I'm Jess. I've got a butt ton of kids, a butt ton of businesses, and a butt ton of things to say. And this is One Girl Too Much, the potty where I share all the lessons of me learning to girl differently and becoming too much. Now, Alex, what are we chatting about today?
Just that. How did you become too much, my love?
How did I become too much? Yeah. Probably dropped on my head at some point. Well, I think for me, the biggest lesson started in high school, where it showed up the most. And if you are too much, I think it's really important that we start to look at what signs were there in high school so that we can support the future generations differently.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't until I raised my girls that I realised how, I guess, hard that was. But I want to preface and say I loved high school. Like, at the time, I feel like I went to a great high school. I don't think it's me bashing on my high school is not the intention. But it's about when you are somebody who's too much. I was smart, but not in the way that school wanted me to be. I didn't fit the boxes of academic or creative. I could read the blurb of a book and write an A+ essay.
But the boxes aren't right.
No, that's a whole nother potty. Those boxes are so flippin' broken. But it was more the culture of being confident wasn't celebrated.
Yeah.
And so I found myself in the drama rooms a lot of the time. I was funny, but only to adults. Like, I would end up in detention and sit there and chat with the detention teachers more than anything. I was every teacher's favourite, but they did not know what to do with me. And it showed up in a lot of odd ways. I ended up being the party girl for sure. Like
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. What was that kid's name with the big glasses that ended up on the news for holding partner?
Corey Worthington.
I was the Corey Worthington of my generation.
I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, no. If you say Whedon Street
through-
to anyone who went to school in my generation, they'll know what went down.
Like through house parties, or you were just at all of them?
Both.
Yeah.
But I held the post for our semi, and that was our first party
Yep.
that was talked about.
Major.
And then my brother had a birthday at a hall, and next minute there was regular parties at a hall, Whedon Street. And yeah, look, it's not unexpected that I throw parties as one of my businesses. But it also showed up as things like, you know, on paper I probably should have been a school captain. I wasn't though, because people didn't know what to do with me. And I was always in the leadership teams and the community teams. And then in my early work life, I ended up, I started working at McDonald's when I was 12 and 9 months, and you've got to sign the paper. And I was a team leader within 5 minutes, and just this annoying busyness and ambition that I just remember feeling broken and bored all the time.
Right.
And I would put too much into friendships that didn't come back. And, you know, all of these things, I didn't care about what other people cared about. I didn't find fun what other people found fun. I was just looking for a place to belong, which is teenager 101.
Yeah.
And if someone had said to me that there was something like what I do now out there, I think it would have been a game changer. And I think if I had role models in my life where life looked differently than grow up and have a baby, or grow up and be a nurse, or grow up and be a teacher, which don't even get me started on the soapbox of those conversations happening even now.
Yeah.
The TikTok trend of, you know, high school students going amongst their girlfriends going, what are you going to do? And the first things is who they're going to marry and what they're going to be doing. And they're such stereotypical girl flopping jobs. And each of my girls, when they do their year 6 graduation, and it's what do you want to be when you grow up? And boys are football players and YouTubers and astronauts and coders, and we are nurses, teachers, or interior designers. And it's like, my gosh, we need to help young people have a bit of vision outside science, maths, and caring for other people.
And just gender-based roles.
Oh, mate,
Do
it
what
was
you want.
absolutely crushing. Yeah.
what you want.
But at the time, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I was broken.
So this
Fashion
is-
didn't look the same. Girling didn't look, I was just broken.
And
Yeah.
this is changed the way that you obviously parent, I'd say your girls, but also your boys.
Yeah. I mean, my girls are in high school, so it's not something that I've had to tackle with my firstborn son yet. But for sure, I think my biggest aim for them is a sense of self and some of the tools that I developed later to discover those key things relative to how much of yourself you should know at 15, and just aiming to give them perspective of what's great about being 15. You know, when you get the angsties about going to the school carnival, it's like, go. Does it really matter if you don't have fun? Like,
Absolutely.
And just kind of giving them some perspective and definitely providing different role models and conversations and just that conversations that help them explore who they are, looking at their values, looking at their goals. My daughter, who's 15, has a particular journey with this because she's an introvert and a people pleaser, which when you play a high-level team sport, go to a massive school and are the firstborn of 6, that ain't an easy thing to be. No. So we've been on a journey about how does she fill her cup, and now she's going into grade 11 and her immediate thing was, I want to be a psychiatrist. And my husband was like, yes, finally, a doctor in the family. And I was like, everything I know about this girl, she's a creative. She loves to read. She loves to write. She's hugely empathetic.
Yeah.
I don't know that fits. She's just watched a bit of a true crime doco series and she's like into it. And so just going and let's go and talk to a journalist. Have you ever thought about what journalist? She's like, I don't want to be on TV. You absolutely don't need to be on TV. Yeah. But where are they learning about the things? Because if someone on paper said you're going to be a marketer, absolutely not. That is just so far from what I connected, what I thought I'd enjoy with. But how are we exposing people to different things and different role models? And that's such a huge part of why TikTok, believe it or not, don't love it. Don't love putting my life out there.
I literally
everyone
have
tell
to
me
remind
your
her.
Literally. And I don't need another thing to do at the end of the day. But it's literally serving the world my life on a silver plate going, tell me what you think about my choices. Like it's not good for the soul.
And you don't hold back.
No, TikTok isn't mean.
Yeah.
And you're only going to get me 100% as I am because who's got time to pretend for anything else at this point? But it definitely is for the younger generations and for women like yourself who just have that feeling of brokenness. And there were two really foundational moments for me. When my TikTok first started going a bit crazy, I had to go to the Mother's Day school thing for one of my daughters. And anyone who knows me knows there's not much I won't do to avoid going to my kids' school. Like, I'd rather put my nipples through a cheese grater at this point. It is my least favourite place to be. But off I toddle to the Mother's Day morning tea, and I'm trying to make small talk with other mums the best I can. And a bunch of grade 7ers, she was probably in grade 3 or 4 at the time, went, oh my God, we follow you on TikTok.
No way.
And the ground could have swallowed me whole. I was like, I'm a wanker, officially.
Certified Mother's Day wanker.
And all the mums, and my kids go to school in a very like upper Stepford Wives of Brisbane kind of area. They're not always my people. There's some amazing mums there. If you're listening, I really like you. But generally, they're just not my people. So that they're looking at me with their judgy faces. I was like, oh, girls, go away. Like my immediate response was like, oh my God, go away. And then afterwards I thought, just flip and do better. Like if those girls are watching you build businesses and figure out motherhood and embrace the chaos and different ways of doing things, that's a great thing. And not that I actively attract young people, but there are a lot of teenagers that connect in, and it's something I've got to navigate with the girls a lot and make sure they're comfortable.
How do they feel about you sharing?
Yeah, they definitely, when they started high school, it was a bigger thing because they were nervous about it, and you'll notice I took a bit of a break through that season, but they low-key think it's so cool. Yeah. Like all of their friends are like, can your mum come to the musical? I think she's really cool. And I'm really mindful, like my rule with sharing my kids is that I do share them, but it's where their life intersects mine. Yeah. It's not their life. Yeah. And I think that's been a really good guidepost to develop for me. So if it is something that's topical to them, we create the content together and they get full decision making over it. But there has been times when it's like, do you not want me to do this because you're worried what people will think with you, or because it doesn't align with you and your values?
Yeah, exactly.
And if so, we're going to push past that, right? Like that's important to me, that we don't change what we do because we're afraid of what others think of us. Yeah. But we have that internal compass to be like, this isn't how I want to show up. Yeah. This makes me uncomfortable. So that was harder to navigate. But look, they got free Lululemon the other day, so they were like,
they're not complaining.
Yeah,
they're not
relatively happy.
Who was your absolute top tier person that you looked up to as a teenager?
I don't know that I really had anyone. I didn't have a lot of role models, but I do remember a girlfriend that I had at school had a single mum. And I would just want to go to her house as much as I can because her relationship with her mother was amazing. It was very Gilmore Girls. And
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls had an incredible impact on me
Yeah.
as a young adult, teenager, and even now. But she was cool. And she worked, I won't share because it might, anyone that's stalking me from high school will know who it is if I do. But she had a great job and she was independent and she had a vibe about her. She dressed a certain way, and her daughter life together. And that was so far from the parenting that I knew. And so she had a really big impact on me. There were a lot of people in my theatre world and my auntie who had an impact on me. But I think I didn't have any.
Yeah.
And that was what made it so much harder putting the pieces together, learning how I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And the essence of this whole conversation is that the pressure, and I don't know if it is a feminist thing, but it feels like there's different categories of men. There's soft men and feminine men and manly men and butch men and footy men and tennis men, whereas there's just girls.
Yeah, women.
Yeah, there's just girls.
They bleed once a month and
yeah,
they're soft.
literally, 100%. And it's like, why can't there be different types of girls?
Absolutely.
And there's no sense of one is better than the other. That's the conversation that as a community of girls we've got to do better. But there's not different types of girls.
Yeah.
And when I look at social media representation, celebrity representation, it's definitely getting better. But I'm like, where are the real girls?
Absolutely.
Like this pedestal just feels so hard. And this was before social media was a thing, right? We relied on real life people and a dial-up tone to get our information, showing my age. So I don't think I had any. And I think that that's really inspired the way that I share.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if you could go back and change one thing that maybe would change the trajectory or how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the world, what would that be?
It would be just, I don't know what the answer is, but that feeling of broken is almost always correlated to something you can do more amazingly than others. You don't fit in that environment. And there's probably lots of environments you don't fit. But you're meant for something so much bigger than what you can see now. It's just changing that feeling of brokenness for young people and opening the conversation to who are you, helping them understand values and where they get their joy from, so that when they are faced with that, I need to fit in that's so real in high school.
Do you have a moment where you're like, I am in my skin, I am me, I feel...
Yeah, look, one pops to mind. So I was in Extension English with my favourite teacher at the time. So it was like the high-level English. And I just want to preface, I never read an English book. Like I could read the blurb of a book.
I don't think I've read any books.
Anything based on opinion, I could 100%. Make me remember a fact. Like my maths teacher by grade 8 was like, just go to the drum rooms. I can't with you. Like, we're giving up. So we read Animal Farm, which is kind of a... connotation of Hitler's regime and dictatorship. And I remember in the class going, I don't care how good you are at speaking this. There is no way you're telling me this. No one. He wasn't a king or a politician. He was basically a homeless rando. Ended up causing such catastrophe. Like, there's a conspiracy theory. I was like, and she's like, propaganda, do a paper on propaganda. And like, shove your propaganda. I don't believe you. And so she said to me, I want you to pick a mission and see how many people you can get on board. And I was like,
wow.
And so my mission was wear pink for a day. And also party girl, right? Just want to preface. No one wanted to be my friend. Everyone wanted to come to my party. So I started a mission of who can I get to wear pink? And there was a feminist like, let's remove the gender of pink. Let's break the school uniform policy and have some identity. Pink is about making a stand and I'm on the tabletops at lunch. And not only did my entire grade turn up in pink, I'm talking pink tutus, pink ties, pink hair, pink thing. I went to a Catholic school for a bit of preface. The 4 neighbouring schools also went pink. And I remember thinking, whoa, this works. And instead of that being a moment of like learning, I got detention for about 2 years. Like it went far. Look, Lucky Detention was my favourite place. But I think like in that moment as a community, that would have been such powerful learning about the weight our voice has and all those things. And that was such a moment for me to go, hey, I can do things better than others can in some ways. And It's not about being better or worse, which I think school very much sets us up to do. You're better than this person, worse than that person. It's very comparative, but there's a different skill set that's just completely not spoken to at schools. It's got nothing to do with the fact I'm neurodiverse. That's a challenge in itself. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm creative or entrepreneurial. It's a sense of self that we need to clear the lines of where that comes from, because is it parents, is it school, is it other resources? But someone has to help kids understand a sense of self before they tackle the world in the way it is.
And is that a superpower that you would instill in kids if you could give them anything?
100%,
what would it be?
100%. Doing value testing is like 101. If you haven't done value testing with your kids, you know, Brene Brown has a fantastic resource on this. Find out what their two biggest values are. Is it freedom? Is it money? Is it recognition? Is it socializing? And just that knowledge alone helps them not compare in a way that they need to, and it helps them make the first job choices, the friendship choices, the personality traits that come with that. Is just a great way to start. And why we're not doing it with kids in schools blows my mind.
That's crazy.
Or at home. Is it the school's job? I don't know the answer. Don't let me get on that pedestal. But yeah, it was fun. So this lesson of learning to be too much is definitely that we as a community need to support young women better, particularly as they enter high school. Girling is so tough in a world of social media.
And it doesn't get easier.
Oh, mate, it is terrifying. It was terrifying when I was 15, let alone what the girls are going through now. So how can we instill it? And I honestly think it just starts with recognizing the feeling of brokenness that if you're too much, you're going to have, and rallying around our young people. So that's a wrap. We will be dropping podcasts weekly, but in the meantime, head over to my TikTok and follow Too Much Jess for more shenanigans, and keep your girl lessons coming via email. We want to hear them. Thanks, Alex.
Bye.